John Denver, the beloved singer-songwriter whose gentle voice and heartfelt lyrics captured the spirit of an entire generation, appeared to live a life that perfectly reflected the peaceful messages in his music. Known for timeless classics like Take Me Home, Country Roads, Rocky Mountain High, and Annie's Song, Denver became a symbol of sincerity, simplicity, and deep love for nature. To millions of fans, he represented a wholesome image of success, a man who sang about mountains, love, and the beauty of the natural world while living a life that seemed just as pure and inspiring as his songs. However, behind the scenes, the story of John Denver was far more complicated than the public ever realized. For decades, while the world saw a cheerful and optimistic performer on stage, Denver quietly struggled with the pressures of fame, personal conflicts, and emotional challenges that created a kind of double life few people truly understood. On one side, he was the global superstar adored by fans everywhere, touring constantly, performing for packed arenas, and becoming one of the most recognizable voices in music. On the other side, he was a man grappling with loneliness, relationship struggles, and the overwhelming expectations that came with being a public figure. Friends and colleagues often described Denver as deeply sensitive and introspective, someone who carried his emotions intensely and sometimes found it difficult to balance his private life with the demands of his career. The more successful he became, the more pressure he felt to maintain the image that the public expected from him. While his songs celebrated love and harmony, his personal relationships sometimes faced serious strain. His marriages experienced difficulties, and the constant touring schedule made it hard for him to maintain stability at home. At times, Denver reportedly felt trapped between the peaceful, idealistic world he sang about and the complicated reality of life behind the scenes. This contrast created what some close to him described as a double existence, where the public version of John Denver did not always reflect the private struggles he faced. Yet despite these challenges, Denver continued to pour his heart into his music. Many of his songs carried deeper meanings than listeners initially realized, reflecting his longing for connection, peace, and emotional balance. Music became both an escape and a form of expression for the conflicts he experienced internally. He also devoted himself passionately to environmental activism and humanitarian causes, using his fame to advocate for the protection of nature and the betterment of the world. For Denver, these efforts were more than public gestures, they were deeply personal missions that reflected his genuine beliefs. Still, living under constant public attention made it difficult for him to fully reveal the complexities of his life. The public wanted the smiling, hopeful singer who made them feel good about the world, and Denver often felt obligated to fulfill that role even when his private life was far more complicated. The idea that he lived a double life for decades does not necessarily mean deception. Rather, it reflects the reality that many public figures face when trying to balance personal truth with public expectations. As the years passed, Denver continued creating music and pursuing his passions, but the emotional weight of his experiences remained a quiet part of his story. Looking back now, fans and historians recognize that the man behind the songs was far more complex than the simple, joyful image that once defined him. His life contained both beauty and struggle, inspiration and heartbreak. Understanding this duality does not diminish John Denver's legacy, it actually deepens it. It reveals a human being who used music to bridge the gap between the life he wished for and the life he sometimes struggled to live. His songs continue to inspire people around the world, reminding listeners that even those who seem happiest on the outside may carry hidden burdens within. John Denver's story ultimately reflects the universal human experience of trying to find peace, meaning, and authenticity in a world full of expectations.